Gulfcraft right now is manufacturing majority of the vessel, almost 60% eco-friendly material, and some of them reusable or recyclable.
Welcome to the Ben Taylor podcast. This is the home of marine industry insights. Hi everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Ben Taylor podcast, the home of marine industry insights. Today we are with Gulfcraft. I'm here with Costas. Nice to see you, Costas.
Hi, nice to meet you.
So gives a little context. I think just about anybody in this region, the UAE, would, and indeed the Gulf, would recognize the Gulfcraft group. But could you just introduce how they're positioned in the market and yourself as well?
Okay, so my name is Costas. I'm with Gulfcraft for the past 8 years. I joined Gulfcraft 2016, late, as a quality control manager. Then moved the ranks. I became the general manager of production. And currently I am the chief process officer for the company, trying to align all the departments together and then transmit the vision of our chairman. Gulfcraft has been instrumental in, nowadays in boating, in the industry itself, especially the composite, but in the region, it was vital for the growth of the marine, leisure, commercial, and all the transfer operation from Coast Guard to super yachts. Having to import vessels in the early days, which means added cost and the growth development would cost a lot.
Quite inefficient.
Yes?
Yeah.
So it helped a lot. And then late 80s, when we started exporting, that opened up a completely new vision for the company. And as you're well aware, we currently export to more than 80 countries.
Wow. And so recently, you've announced the Gulfcraft Group, because there's multiple brands within the group, and I suppose they deserve their own identity and their own brand. Can you explain what advantages the group has brought in doing that?
Definitely. To start off, we have 6 brands. So we have the Majesty yacht, which is the luxurious vessel, ranging from 60 feet up to 175, 54 meters. Then we have the Nomad, which is the explorer yacht, kind of adventurous yacht, ranging from 55 earlier on, right now 65 up to 101 feet. Then we have the Oryx leisure line, which is for the enthusiasts, whether they want to go for a day cruise or a fishing trip. Silver Cats, of course, catamaran fleet. We have the Silvercraft, and also the Touring, which is the utility vessels, facilitating any operator, whether it is ferry, VIP, Coast Guard, firefighting, search and rescue, etc. Now, growing that much, we were forced to develop the group. First of all, to segregate, start capitalizing on each brand, brand awareness, and then developing individuals' P&Ls. At the same time, the development of service center, with the newest service center that will have up and running end of the year in Ajman, basically to facilitate the shift that there is in the market of super yachts, where they move a lot of yachts now in the Med, from the Med to the Gulf. So it's a big opportunity for us. And also on the huge project that we have in Maldives. Maldives, we are developing our own lagoon.
Oh, right.
We are diversifying in business, where we are going to have 3 resorts, a residential, and these are all individual islands, plus the new state-of-the-art facility, aiming to deliver around 400 vessels a year. Out of them, the 2/3 will be exported around the world, mainly utility vessels and yachts.
And why the Maldives?
So we have been in Maldives for the past 23 years.
Right, okay, wow.
It was institutional. Our chairman is a vivid fisherman. So wherever the fish is, he will go. He went to Maldives, let's say 26 years ago.
Yeah.
He realized the true potential on the resources of Maldives. But they used to have these wooden dhonis. Investment was poor from investors developing the resorts, because if you don't have a transportation infrastructure in an island nation, then you cannot do anything.
Yeah.
So it was a decision within, let's say, 5 months.
Right. So
We
it
developed-
was kind of stuck. It needed that investment, that push, and for a
Exactly.
player like Gulfcraft to really get involved.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we have delivered more than 3,000 vessels there, produced and delivered
So
3,000
it's a nice
vessels.
market. It's an important market.
It's a very important market. And we recently realized doing our own study that basically Gulfcraft is the biggest manufacturer of this kind of vessels. So speedboats, small fiberglass transportation boats.
Yeah. And so do you find with each of the Gulfcraft Group's brands that they actually perform differently in different regions around the world?
Definitely, of course. Every market has its own needs. Yes. You have USA market, which is a vast market, and you can find everything. You do have requirements for Coast Guard boats, patrol boats. You do have the luxury aficionados with their super yachts. You have a big DNA and culture on fishing, sports fishing.
Yeah.
So every market has its own needs. You see, for example, the Asian market, they love to enjoy the vessels, and they do a lot of journeys. So from coast to coast, long trips. Therefore, Nomad Yacht is more accommodating their needs because it's a long range vessel. It has a lot of space for their toys on board, and they can play around. Then the utility boats, they apply on the island front nations and wherever you need transportation, wherever you need to protect the waters. Of course, catamaran, which is a big trend right now in the market.
Yeah, they're growing in popularity massively.
Huge popularity.
Yeah.
We have a kind of a versatile vessel. So we have the dedicated sports fishing vessel, but at the same time we have the family vessel. And it's very well appreciated from markets from abroad. We're looking at Bahamas, we're looking in Saudi, we're looking in Asian markets, Australia as well. Because you can really go and enjoy out with the family and friends.
And so when you've got this structure there, it's really impressive how the Gulfcraft Group are positioned right now. What does that make your focus for what's next? What are you kind of working on now to make sure you retain and grow that position?
Obviously, as we said, the group is there to strategically align and focus on the vision of each brand.
Yeah.
When we look at the portfolio, it's so versatile. So if we segment it, super yacht, right now, the industry is dictating that you have to be eco-friendly, sustainable, and give alternative fuel, and at the same time, the highest level of customization. Now, the customization is well engraved into Gulfcraft, and it is the vision of our chairman. We've been having hard times when we are on the designing board because he would want every deck to be flat, yes? And to achieve that and also incorporate a well-engineered machine space is quite difficult. That's where all the awards come from. All these years we have been collecting interior awards, not because we've been there and displaying in the shows. It's because the actual vessels have that.
Yeah, and it's quite difficult to do.
Yes.
Very difficult to do.
It's very difficult. With regards to the sustainability, Gulfcraft right now is manufacturing majority of the vessel with almost 60% eco-friendly material, and some of them reusable or recyclable, because that will be the question of the future.
Yeah.
How can composite be recycled? Same rules applies on the cargo vessels, where you have the steel yards and all the demolition of the vessel, which is now getting new regulations. The same will apply for the composite vessels. And thankfully, we are there with all these sustainable materials.
And so you're very involved in the processes at Gulfcraft.
Definitely.
How do you actually go about, I suppose, innovating the manufacturing process to make it one step closer to more sustainable boat building?
Okay, very important is to segment all the stages.
Yeah.
That's a nice skydive now.
Yeah.
Segment all the
yeah.
stages and then develop modular builds. We are vertical integrated. That means 90% of our vessels is built in-house. That was a necessity for us when we started off.
Yeah, you retain control, don't you?
1982. You don't have any sub. You cannot subcontract to anyone. You're far away from everything.
Yeah.
So we developed all the knowledge in-house.
Yeah.
Now, that was super successful. But when you have to start developing also a lean manufacture, you need to start modularizing everything. So now you'll see, for example, our helm is fully completed, fitted, outfitted, QC tested in a modular electrical section, and then shifted as a unit on board, plug and play. That gives us the agility, yes, on the construction, and that reduces the time to market.
Right. So if you had a new system integration, a new material perhaps that was used in one of these modules, you would then focus on integrating it on that module rather than the whole boat, and that makes you more flexible and more able to apply it to different models and
Exactly.
etc. Wow, clever. And so, what kind of things are the big jumps on the sustainability front? Is it mainly materials or the processes? What's the
mainly materials, the process of the build, 100%, and then technology. We are currently working with a lot of institutes around the globe, developing modules, proof of concept of modules with methanol. We have already on all our super yachts the hospitality power reduced. We scavenge the energy from the air condition, return it back, then heat the water for the fresh water supply on the yacht. That is very important. Then you don't have to use the generator as much. It's reduced.
Yeah, so it's a quieter, better environment, so it's a better experience on board. But then also you've got more efficiency of the energy and the heat on board.
Exactly.
Because you've recycled it. And so you're
Phase
not
one
creating
was
again.
a reduction of the house fuel economy by 15%. And next year we are moving to 35%.
Wow.
Which is a big deal, especially the big vessels. People charter these vessels. They want to have something that is cost effective.
Yeah, and often the energy usage is from domestic appliances. It's not always the proproportion.
Absolutely,
most
correct.
people don't go that
they
far.
don't get it. Yes, it's true. It's true.
Yeah.
Saving every liter is very important to the environment. At the same time, having the adaptability and being in compliance to all the regulations of IMO, whether it comes to the tier, all the super yachts we built, for example, are all with SCRs.
Yeah.
Full compliance at any state, at any flag, any entrance at any port. They're just entering freely.
Yeah. And so let's have a vision looking forward. So what can we expect Gulfcraft to be working on in the coming months and years?
Okay, so we are developing Majesty 160. That was announced 2 years ago.
Well, will that be the largest boat yet?
That will not be the largest. The largest was 175, which was 780 gross tonnage.
And that's a production
That's
vessel?
A production vessel.
Wow.
160, so we went above and beyond. That was actually when we announced back in 2016 the construction of 175 in Monaco. Our peers, they were not mocking us, but they were interested to understand.
Okay, why are you doing
why
that?
are we going towards that direction?
Yeah.
We proved it by delivering the vessel in full compliance MCA. Now the biggest struggle was when we had the contract with the Classification Society and they visited for the kickoff meeting. They opened up their booklet and they said, guys, above 500 gross tonnage, we don't have regulations for a composite vessel. Therefore, whatever you do, you have to go equivalent to steel. As you can understand, that was a huge challenge, but we never let our guards down. 172 tests in the lab, developed our own IP to have absolute fire integrity in compliance and structural integrity in compliance to reach the highest limits, which is ISO. It's an endeavor that paid off well. Now, coming back to the question, Majesty 160 is taking all the knowledge from the 175 and placing a vessel below 500, which is a sweet spot of the market.
Okay, yeah.
50 meters long as a production vessel.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll be here next year, sitting on the 160 and having the market admire it.
Sounds good to me. Sounds good to me. Thank you very much for your insights.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you.
I hope you found that content insightful. Make sure you're following here to see plenty more of it. Outside of that, I'll see you very soon. Bye for now.